Two picks for Trump's team signal a harder line on China and Iran and U.S. withdrawal from Europe. Now, this is Sky News, which is England. Actually, the UK, I believe.
UCA?
UCA.
I have no respect for UCA
any longer. No respect for UCA any longer. London isn't even English. It's not even an English city anymore.
Look, literally, Irish, love them. Scottish, they're okay. Yeah. UCA as a whole can smurf my balls.
Yeah. London is less than 30% English now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's one big stab fest.
Yeah. Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, is widely tipped in U.S. media reports as the president-elect's choice for Secretary of State, while Michael Waltz, a Republican congressman and former Special Forces soldier, will be Trump's new top security advisor. Why is the United Kingdom interested in this? Well, it affects their operations in Europe and their ability to project power and their...
Now, let's just talk about the UN here.
Free Gibbs from the United States, frankly.
All right. The UN. America has been bankrolling the United Nations since the end of World War II.
Yes.
And we've been the police force for the world, basically, since the end of World War II. Mm-hmm. And the UN has basically stabbed the United States in the back. They keep trying to disarm our population, turn us into a bunch of servient pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And it's about time we just pull our funding from the UN and let them leave them to their own devices. Because I'm sick and tired of their horse shit.
Oh, what button am I trying to push here? Jimmy, where are you?
He's running behind.
How much of the UN budget does the United States pay? Do you know? I happen
not off the top of my head.
80%.
Wow, that much. Yeah.
Most of the member nations do not pay their dues because they know that the United States.
Yeah, and here's another thing. Why are we sending billions of dollars to various countries all over the world? That needs to immediately stop. And we need to stop funding the UN because all they really want to do is stab us in the fucking back.
If you want to see how ugly it really is, the website is Foreign Assistance, all one word, foreignassistance.gov.
Okay.
It shows all of the money that we kick to other countries for no reason at all.
Tuesday show, foreignassistance.gov, and we'll rip it apart.
Oh, you want to do that next week?
Why not?
Okay.
We want to see where the money's going, don't you?
Okay. Yeah, no, sure. I'm down for that. Are you guys down for that?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I'm all about dissecting this bullshit because guess what? Your money is getting siphoned out of the funds. And you don't know where it's fucking going, and nobody really has to say in what's going on except for the people at the top.
Basically, the federal government has become a bunch of freaking Mexican illegal workers because what those guys do is they come over here, they work, and they send all of their money home.
Amen. There you go.
All they're doing is siphoning your money out of the country.
I am detecting
that is part of inflation.
That's a thumbnail for next Tuesday.
Write that down and make sure to send that to me because you know I will go brain fucking dead by tomorrow morning. Unless you send it to me. My thinking meat does not retain short term anymore.
Yeah, I have to write stuff down.
Yeah, me too.
I'm oldie.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like 3 logbooks. Sometimes I'll forget one of them and I have to go find it. And I find out that I haven't put anything in it in like a month. I'm like, damn it.
But you know, God. I think that would be a really good show. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it. So Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, is widely tipped in U.S. media reports as the president-elect choice for his top diplomat. Those is yet to be confirmed. It is also being reported that Michael Waltz, a Republican congressman and former Special Forces soldier, will be Mr. Trump's new top security advisor.
Now, this isn't the guy who was running for vice president, is it?
No.
It's a different Waltz?
That's Waltz. This is Waltz.
Because I'm a dyslexicist.
It's not him.
All right, good.
The one who was running picked for vice president didn't even make sergeant major and was like a mechanic or something like that.
He was a master sergeant.
This guy was an operator.
Yeah.
And this guy was an 18 series.
And you and I know, for you to go from a master sergeant without a diamond into the sergeant major ranks, let alone the sergeant major ranks, or the command sergeant major ranks, you know that dude's throat goat operations were on point.
Yeah.
Because you have to be one hell of an ass kiss and dick sucker to do that. I'm sorry.
It's just a fact.
Especially if you're a non-combat, you've never seen combat.
Yeah.
I can understand if you have a first sergeant and, he kicked ass, take names. He's got a bunch of the been there, done that awards. And you're like, well, we need a sergeant major. That's him.
Yep.
I totally behind that.
Yep.
But a master sergeant, fuck off.
I probably would have never made sergeant major because at that time, I had never made it into an actual box.
No, I fell on my sword. That's why I never made sergeant.
So, well, that's why you fell on your sword.
I literally.
But the track that I was on, I had staff, I had army level staff, I had tactical, I had 2 tactical, and then I had joint combined with task force. So that's a good stack of assignments. I probably would have made it to master sergeant.
No, I literally was
but
told
never sergeant major
to my face in formation at the DC 100-year Army Reserve reenlistment event.
Yeah,
he looked me in the face and goes, "You're never going to make sergeant major."
What did you say to him?
And I'm at parade rest, and I just said, "Worth it." And he just walked off.
Beautiful.
Fuck that guy.
So both men here are seen as foreign policy hawks who regard Beijing as the biggest threat to the United States and would like to see more U.S. resources redirected from Europe to the Asia Pacific. Here is where the worm turns and why the British papers have this. If America starts to pull out of Europe, where we've been for the last 80 years, and there's really no reason for us to be there anymore at all for any reason, except for maybe training exercises every now and then for nostalgia purposes, this is what Europe and the EU and the UK are most worried about, is the United States finally going, it's been a fun 80 years, but maybe we should go now.
I'm totally cool with that.
This era of projection of force capability, there is no reason for us to maintain any overseas bases, in my opinion.
Do I think we need as many as we have? Hell no. Do we need a few?
No idea how many we have.
We have so many.
Most people have no idea how many we have.
That's another show.
It is another show. We mentioned this in passing when we were talking about some of the shit that NSA was up to, and they mentioned the place in Algeria that I went to. I'm like, that's not supposed to be in the newspaper.
I know North Africa is full of bases now.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't believe that it was actually in the paper. I was like,
well, I get an email or two. Well, I get an email or two from some guys who were in what's that new USMC Tier 1? Is it MARSOC?
MARSOC, yep.
Yeah, they're operating in North.
They recruited a couple of guys from us.
Yeah, they're operating in North Africa. So are in Navy SEALs are doing stuff.
They're working with Foreign Legion then.
Yeah,
probably.
And I know the regiment has sent units there as well. What they do, I'm not read in on their operations. I just the rumor mill is Northern Africa.
I saw everywhere I went with anything like a task force, if there were Rangers present, it meant that CAG was operating in the area.
That's exactly always, because even when I was in, they always called the Rangers to be outer cordon security for Delta or CAG, whatever you want to call
whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
So neither of the men support an open-ended commitment by Washington to provide weapons and money to the Ukraine, their pet project to fight Russia's war, favoring instead a deal with Vladimir Putin. Ukraine is a money laundering facility. We've seen this. It's also a chemical weapons lab. We have also seen this. Okay? That's what's going on. That's why Ukraine is so important to these people. Before about 5 years ago, how much did you know about Ukraine other than the fact that it existed?
They were the breadbasket of Europe. They used to have nuclear weapons that they surrendered under the promise that we would protect them from Russia. And that's about it.
You know more than the average person. I would bet you if I walked...
Oh, no, and they have hot women. They had hot women.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I learned when I went to university overseas and was in some classes, I discovered that we had been lied to by Wendy's commercials in the 1980s.
Really? No.
There were 2 girls from Bulgaria in one of my classes who changed my perspective of that part of the world significantly.
What, they little Debbie'd you?
No, I did not. I did not participate. I did not partake. But they were in my class, and they clearly were not large, roomy women wearing drab gray dresses.
No.
At all by any stretch of the
Yeah, there's not a lot of fat women there. At least there
No.
used to be.
No.
Who knows today?
No. Anyway, there we go down the rabbit hole.
Sorry, we keep going on.
Slavic
Stop
chicks.
it. Bad.
Anyway, this is their Ukraine is their money laundering device. If I walked up to the average person on the street today, they couldn't point to Ukraine on a map.
Yeah.
They couldn't. They barely can say the president's name there. The little dwarf guy thing, cross-dresser.
The comedian?
Dude, he literally was a comedian on a TV show.
Yeah.
I remember when he ran for president, I was like, ha, 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 that's really funny. The guy from TV show got elected president of Ukraine.
And are we laughing now?
No, we're not laughing anymore.
Now, don't get me wrong.
So this is the UK's perspective on what's going on in America. They're very upset that we might pull out of Ukraine. They're very upset that we might find peace with Russia. They're very upset that we might pull out of Europe and pull our assets there and refocus on China, which we should be doing, honestly.
Listen, I like Russia.
I don't have any problem with them.
No, I don't have a problem with Ukraine.
I don't feel any particular way about Russia.
No.
I am ambivalent.
Yeah, same here.
And I don't know why this is all of a sudden a thing. I thought we were done with the whole Russia thing, wasn't it?
I didn't even hate Russia when it was the USSR.
Yeah.
I was like, they're worthy adversaries. That's how I, okay.
Yeah. The submarine stories were
fucking awesome.
Dude, I met some of the old sub guys. The stories.
All right, move along. We can do a whole show on that.
Sorry. My bad. So, next tab, who's on Trump's short list for attorney general? This is a big one.
Yeah.
Because obviously Merrick Garland is a problem. Why they posted this picture of this chick with her freaking fly trap open like that, I don't know. Oh, I see. That's just where the news thing paused. Attorney General Mike Lee, Ken Paxton, and Matthew Whitaker. I have no idea who Mike Lee or Matthew Whitaker are.
Hang on.
I vaguely know of Ken Paxton.
That picture of the reporter is literally the last, microseconds before she receives a facial. I'm just saying. That picture looks like it's from the one eye.
Anyway, carrying on.
Come on, I have to throw some humor in there.
That's fine. President-elect Donald Trump has wasted little time in naming top White House and cabinet officials. He just named, who was it? Hang on. I have to consult my side brain here really fast.
Well, I know the
Pete Hegseth was just nominated for Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
Who
the hell's that guy?
Okay, wait, watch this. Pete Hegseth is 44 years old. He was a major in the Minnesota National Guard. That's it. That's his military experience.
That's it?
Major in the Minnesota National Guard. Tim Waltz, Harris's running mate, was also in the Minnesota National Guard. Pete Hegseth went to Princeton and Harvard, which means he's been to the correct schools. I'm smelling WEF all over him. I'm sorry, I am.
So you're saying it's a fondalization going on?
I believe there may be some fondalization
going on. Some of this going on under the table?
As a major in the National Guard, and I've dealt with a lot of them because I worked at an Army level unit where Army level civil affairs is basically just politics while wearing BDUs. So we would get officers from units all over the United States and other places. And my job as the NCOIC ops was reception, staging, onward movement, and integration.
Training.
They'd come in and I'd brief them up, and it'd be 3 days of briefings, and here's your shit. And okay, you three guys need a PT test. And then I'd move them to where they were going to go to liaise with Korean officers. Sorry, it's a good word though. Anyway, without exception, the most useless ranks in the National Guard civil affairs units, in my experience, were sergeant major and major.
I can agree with that.
Because they were basically just apparat chicks. They didn't serve a real purpose.
No.
and they had enough rank that they could make your life shitty.
All right, hang on. Let's just be honest. Most of the officers I served with in the civil affairs were cast-off officers, meaning they did not act and play well with others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing in some cases and a bad thing in others. But most of the guys I got, once I found out that they didn't act and play well with others, I was cool. I'm like, all right, I can work with that.
Yeah.
Your heart's in the right place. I
The
can work with that.
The reserve officers that we got for civil affairs at that level were a pain in the ass. Active duty civil affairs officers were usually fairly squared away because they had all the training and they did the mission on a daily.
But here's the thing. We're moving a guy from the National Guard with no actual experience, with a shitty ass level of rank, into one of the highest positions there is within this particular cabinet.
He's one below the president.
I am going to say that is a huge fucking mistake. But hey, I'm just an old first sergeant. Don't listen to me.
What I want to know is, who did you blow, Major Hegseth?
Yeah. All right, move along. Let's go.
Early contenders for the post include sitting U.S. senators, former Justice Department personnel, and at least one top White House advisor from Trump's first term. Let's see here. Senator Mike Lee of Utah. Let's look at the candidates here real quick. Is considered a more conventional pick to head up the Justice Department. Lee is a high-ranking Republican in the chamber, but he may not be gunning for the role. The Utah Republican told reporters last week he has been in frequent conversations with Trump's transition team. He plans to focus his sway in the Republican majority Senate. I have the job that I want, he said. John Ratcliffe.
Well, hang on.
Well, I want people to get a general idea of the three players.
Do you think he's picking these people because he just doesn't have enough people? Because he's got to pick a lot of individuals. And last time he picked people that, everyone's like, oh, he'll be fine. And they wound up, stabbing him in the fucking back.
Again, Trump is basically a general officer. General officers don't even get to tie their shoes without their staff telling them what color shoelaces to wear that morning.
Correct.
The notion that these guys operate autonomously is bizarre. Okay? Anytime you've got somebody at the level of leadership of a Trump or any CEO for that matter, and that includes general officers and senior politicians, they have a staff that controls everything that they see, hear, and do. All of it is all controlled by these staffs. So there's a very good chance that Trump's staff is coming to him with short lists of people that those staff members think are going to get them their next ticket punch.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stranger things in the officer ranks, so I can't put that by him.
Yeah, it's ticket punching. I saw the big one was lieutenant colonels.
Yeah.
The big one was lieutenant colonels. They were fucking ticket punchers like crazy because they're trying to get that eagle. Yeah. General officer rank, you pretty much have to be in the boys club or whatever club it is that produces the star.
First of all, I'm not a fan of officers in general, and
I know I'm just describing
way less
the process.
fan of general officers.
Just describing the process.
Okay, I got you.
Only describing the process. So that's Senator Mike Lee. He doesn't appear to want it. He's from Utah. He wants to be really influential in the new Senate steering committees. John Ratcliffe is a former director of national intelligence. He's among the top names being considered to head the Justice Department. He's a former federal prosecutor and a former representative from Texas. Earned the spotlight during Trump's first term for his outspoken criticism of the FBI, which should be disbanded. The FBI should be disbanded. All of you guys on the fourth floor that work underneath me, I'm going to continue to harass you, and there's nothing you can do about it because I know how to harass you properly. Ratcliffe, a former federal prosecutor and a former representative from Texas, earned the spotlight during Trump's first term for his outspoken criticism of the FBI. Trump tapped Ratcliffe in 2019 to replace Dan Coats as the Director of National Intelligence. DNI is a pretty high-level position. Many of the reports that one of the units I worked at went right to DNI. Those guys could move stuff around. In the movies where they're like, reroute this satellite, DNI has the power.
They can do that.
DNI will reroute a satellite. Next in line is Mark Paletta. I don't know who this is. Former White House attorney, Mark Paletta served during Trump's first term as counsel to then Vice President Mike Pence. and to the Office of Management and Budget. Paoletta is already working on the Trump transition team, helping to steer Justice Department policy in the next Trump administration, making him a potentially natural fit for the role. Mr. Trump, sir, why do you have one of the attorneys from Mike Pence's team in your camp at all? I would purge any Pencean persons completely. Just get him out of there. That's ridiculous. What are you doing? Why do you have anybody from the Pens team in there?
He was such a huge disappointment.
Holy crap.
Speaking of disappointments.
What? Oh, Jimmy Bones. Thank God. I've been fucking up so badly with the screens.
I got stuck behind a train on my way back from work, so apologies for that, gentlemen.
I have to cross 2 train tracks on my way home. I feel you, brother.
All right.
Paoletta also made clear on Monday that if tapped to head up the Justice Department, he would not tolerate any resistance to Trump's agenda by career prosecutors and other non-political officials. You mean like you helped Mike Pence do whatever it was that he did? In a lengthy post on social media site Twitter, I don't care, Paoletta said that career employees are required to implement the president's plan after an election, appearing to dismiss fears about plans that career staff may regard as illegal or unethical. They're going to interfere anyway. They will drag their feet. They will sandbag. They will stonewall. They will shred material. They'll do anything they can to keep Trump from doing what he's supposed to do as president. If these career DOJ employees won't implement President Trump's program in good faith, they should leave. I agree. It's not going to work that way, though.
No. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Number one, Trump has played this game already, and he did not fare well. He got stabbed in the back. We've already talked about that. And then they did some craziness to get him out of office, which is looking more and more like it was fabricated. And during that 4 years, we got to get a snapshot of what the big government wants for this country. And now he's in for a second term. He's 78. He's not going to have another term. He's all in at this point. And we are going to see some real, hopefully, knock on some wood, we're going to see some horrific political carnage. I want to see that.
I hope so. Look, Marco Rubio has a brother. He's out of Florida. They are of Cuban descent. I started noticing them way back in 2004. And the guy is milquetoast. He rolls over for everything. Marco Rubio doesn't belong anywhere near any of this. He is easily influenced. And this one I want to put up because we're about to get to the super chats. Fetterman hails Rubio as a strong choice for Secretary of State and says he will vote to confirm him. I don't know if Fetterman is trying to ambush Rubio and force him out, or if this is Fetterman being an idiot and saying exactly what I just said, that they can get Rubio to roll over on anything. So please make him Secretary of State so that we can control the Secretary of State position. But Fetterman endorsing anyone, I mean, look at the guy, for God's sake. Look at him. He's right there, man.
Yeah.
That's a sitting fucking. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Seriously.
All right.
Fetterman is endorsing Rubio, I don't know what to say, but I think I do know what to say here.
Well, let's just be honest. We need new blood up there.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of seeing the same fucking names over and over again.
I said exactly that in a conversation earlier today.
Why is Rubio even still fucking there?
Yep.
He's been there, 12 years now?
Because he's easily manipulated.
20 years. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yep.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.